What is up? Welcome back to the channel. I know the first question is everyone's like, why are you streaming on like a Friday? First of all, oh my god, my hair is just so large today. It needs to calm down. It's like got a mind of its own. Uh, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Jeez. I'm sorry. It's been a long morning. Happy birthday to me. Woo, literally just almost killed myself. Basically, the reason we're streaming on a Friday instead of a Saturday is production, scheduling is off, right? Because Kat's doing other productions as well, and I'm still in post-production. And you know what? We were like, if we need to move it, why don't we just stream on your birthday? I was like, cool, let's do it. Thank you, Rhino. Did you just donate bits for my birthday? I appreciate you. So, this is going to be a good stream. And literally I have Kat on hold, and she's like smiling right now because she's like, bring me in right now. She's like ready. We're gonna talk about a couple of things. One is the new Ted Bundy movie on Netflix, and there's gonna be spoiler alerts. Although I feel like there's not a lot of spoilers on that because everybody knows the story of Ted Bundy, so I feel like that's not like going to shock anybody of what we talk about. But I'm going to talk about the way it was produced and directed and all that stuff. Zac Efron and the director have gotten kind of a lot of crap for it. So I wanted to address it as like a filmmaker producer perspective. I even made Kat watch it before the stream today to make sure she knew what we were talking about. And then we're going to spill some tea. Okay. And I just want to make sure everybody's ready to spill some tea with us because I haven't spilled the tea in a minute. You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute. And I don't know, there's been some stuff happen in the paranormal community. Like I said, Kat does, all of our social media management. And so she sees what's going on in like all the different little communities. In fact, I even thought today maybe Kat and I will break down the different communities for you. There's like the conferences community, the paranormal conferences and conventions. Yeah. And then there's the local paranormal investigators. That's a different community. And then you have the group where we fit in, which is the filmmakers. There's not many of those, right? Like most people have been cast as just regular, kind of like actors and actresses is basically what they're being paid, although some may or may not have paranormal experience. So I just thought we would break that down, and I think that will segue well into the next section, which is with Kat. I think she's just like, she just had a hiccup. If everybody heard that.
Oh no.
It's fine. Whoopsie. Are you ready to come in, Miss Kat? Are you ready?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh wait, she was on mute. Okay, you were on mute.
Good.
They didn't hear your cute hiccup. I'm sorry. That's how we are. Like before we're getting ready to stream, we're like, what's going? All getting ready to go.
I'm it's also like excited. So
yeah, Kat's ready. She's ready. She's been wanting to spill this tea for a minute. And we'll get to that in a minute because I know you're like bursting at the seams. In fact, I did bring my tea with me. Literally, this cup. I know you may not be able to see it. The one side says the future is female. And then the other side is girl boss. I don't know which side's better, so yeah, let's just
both. Just both.
That's
interchange
that's my tea
the entire time.
This. So anyway, okay, let's go into Zac Efron for a second. Okay.
Yes.
So he's been getting a lot of crap because essentially, I assume, and it's mainly like stuff from people that aren't necessarily in the paranormal community. He's getting crap. Basically, people are not liking the fact that he did this film without showing the violent acts of Ted Bundy, right? I mean, is that what you've pretty much read? That's what I've seen.
Yeah, people thought it was boring because they wanted to see more like the aspect of it, which is kind of messed up. Think about it, but
we already know what Ted Bundy did, okay? Like,
do
we need to see it again? Like, Google the crime photos, people. Like, you can see the real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, So anyway, my point is I wanted to go, the thing about film and, like, watching film as an audience member, you can watch it several times. You can go in watching it first. I always like to go in unbiased as just like that's how I do, like, my critiques when I'm doing it. is as an audience member, what am I seeing that's wrong? What am I seeing that I like? Does it really drag me into the world of Ted Bundy, right? And then you can rewatch it again, and then you can critique it from like a director-producer stance, okay? My opinion overall was I thought it was great. I thought it was really well done. I thought the cinematic structure was beautiful. I thought, especially Zac Efron, I mean, I don't know how you would be open to becoming a monster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, literally.
He was quoted saying too that he was nervous at first.
Really?
Because that's kind of like a dark rabbit hole. You think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, and a lot of actors will do, you know, method acting and really become the character, and that can be kind of scary in an aspect, you know.
Well, and he definitely did do the method acting. If you guys aren't familiar with that,
everything.
it's when basically, and not all actors do it. I feel like the easiest way to tell when someone's method acting is, you know, normally you'll go into like costume, obviously, and they'll like dress him like the 70s or 80s, right? His hair was long. But literally after the film ended, he was like on the red carpet, and he had like cut his hair really short, bleached his hair, he had like trimmed his whole beard. That's method acting. He literally like himself became Ted Bundy. He let his own hair grow out. He didn't get on like prosthetics. He didn't have on fake beards and like a wig. He literally became Ted Bundy and like enveloped his full lifestyle. And a lot of times they say like Heath Ledger, for example, became so enveloped in that character that may be one of the reasons that he actually ended up committing suicide, because the Joker is in fact insane, right?
Scary.
It is.
Scary.
So in my opinion, you know, in this series or in this show that they do with the Ted Bundy, basically they're showing it from a perspective of Liz, which is his longtime girlfriend. What did you think about that perspective, Kat?
I thought it was really fascinating. I was a little confused at first, only because I didn't recall seeing her in the Ted Bundy tapes, the other Netflix documentary talking about him. So I was a little confused as to like who she was. I guess I didn't do as much research as I probably should have. But I chatted about it with Krystal afterwards, and she sent me a really interesting link of her and the life story of that, and it all made sense. It was really well done.
It really was well done, and honestly, you know, once again, the point of a film is being pushed into the world of whatever they're creating. And from my perspective, at least, I don't know how you felt, I truly did feel like I understood what she was going through, because I feel like women in general are based on emotions. It's just naturally who we are as people. And she really, really struggled in seeing him as like a quote monster. And I feel like any female that's been in a long-term relationship would do the typical stand by your man thing. And he was not just that, though. He was so good at manipulating and lying, and he was believable. Like you had even said, Kat, there were times in the Ted Bundy tape series, which is a separate series, that you would watch it and you would say, wow, he almost has me convinced, and that was the real life Ted Bundy.
Yeah. I was telling Krystal too that, you know, and Lily did an amazing job in her part, but I was telling Krystal that it almost felt like kind of just wanted her to get over that, you know, what she was feeling about Ted, because it made you feel uncomfortable. You know, she did a really great job portraying emotions.
She did. It made you upset for her. It made you feel like,
it did,
oh my
because
God,
you were just like, okay, like let's move this along.
Right, or it's like she's your friend, and you want to be like, okay, like he's actually killing these people. Like you've got to understand that, and it's like you can't portray it because it's obviously a show. So in my opinion, when you feel like that emotionally invested as an audience member, that means that the director and the whole crew has done their job.
Absolutely.
So now I did a little bit more research. This is just like a random fun fact. So her name was, what was her name? Well, her full name was Elizabeth. She actually ended up changing her name. They think they're not sure if it was like officially, like a legal name, but she started going by Elizabeth Kendall. But her actual name is, I'm gonna totally butcher it, Kloepher, Kloepher. But I ended up finding out when I started researching her that she actually ended up writing a book like in the 70s, 80s while this was happening. And the book is called The Phantom Prince, My Life with Ted Bundy. And it's by Elizabeth Kendall, which they're assuming is her changed legal name after like the Bundy files happened. Shout out to Ouija Bop Amy because she loves books. The crazy part about this book, The Phantom Prince, My Life with Ted Bundy, and I'm going to show this picture so everybody can see it, is they actually stopped like in production. So the book doesn't actually even exist in production anymore. So the only way you can get it is people, of course, are on eBay and Amazon trying to sell it for like hundreds and thousands of dollars because of the Ted Bundy like uproar at the moment. Mm-hmm. And there's also people that have taken the book, like the original book, and they've scanned it and turned it into a PDF. And they're selling that online, which I assume is probably illegal because it's not like the Copyright Office doing it.
A little bit.
Just a little. I did buy a copy of it because I'm wanting to read it. So the PDF copy was $1.99 on eBay, if anybody's curious. So I'm going to do a review about that later and talk about... I want to kind of compare this story to what we watched on Netflix. Apparently... Elizabeth, or Liz, was actually a part of pre-production discussions with the director and cinematographer. So, you know, the perspective that people need to kind of take away from this is it doesn't always have to be from the perspective of Ted, which is what everyone wanted to see. And once again, we've seen so many of those already remade. Do we need to see them again?
True.
You know?
True.
I mean, it was nice. I thought it was refreshing to see it from a different perspective.
Well, you know what I found very strange, too, is when reading reviews about it and seeing it trending, you know, on Twitter and stuff like that, it was mainly men that weren't interested in it. Mm-hmm. They didn't like it at all. They kept saying it was crap, right. Whereas women were they loved it. They revered it. It was really well done.
Let's also be real. Women think Zac Efron's hot, and I'm included in that group. So, but then there was the uproar, too, which is a great segue into the next topic, which is... People were saying you shouldn't sexualize Ted Bundy, and Zac Efron was the wrong person for it. What's your opinion on that?
He was literally that in real life.
Like literally.
You know what I mean? Why would we lie? Why would you lie about it?
Right.
You know, I mean, he was already sexualized as it was. Look at all of the interview footage when he was on trial in Florida.
Uh-huh. Yep.
They all said they didn't believe it. They loved him. They didn't believe that he would do anything like that.
The judges, every judge he walked into loved him. He was always able to talk his way out of things. And then you think about women that he was abducting and obviously murdering. Clearly, he had some sort of charm over and over, possibly, you know, up to 100 women. He ended up confessing to like 30 or 40 murders before he died, but they think there was more. They don't even think that was it. So my point is, you know, how would he not be charming and sexualized if he's able to, you know, abduct and murder that many women over a few decades? That's a ridiculous statement. It's like completely contradictory to what he was. But in all seriousness, I think Zac did an amazing job.
He did do a really great job. Mm-hmm. He did a great job. Yeah.
All right. I had to sip my tea before, you know.
Okay.
We spill it. Since I choked when I came on live earlier. What was that
I heard. It was funny.
I was like, okay. Anyway, all right. So, this is going to be a good one. I just hope everyone's ready because I feel like, you know, the last time I spilled tea, I mean, I know I talked publicly about what happened between myself and Nick Groff and that company. I've never spoke about it again because that chapter is done and over with for me, and I moved on. I'm not holding any grudges towards a single soul in this industry, and I don't care for it. But I also decided that you guys know that I'm raw and authentic, and that I felt like I had a duty to be honest with everyone with what I had gone through at that time, especially with Kat was on that stream. Weren't you with me on that stream? And you had witnessed a lot of things that were happening.
Yes. Yep.
So, you know, moving forward, right, which obviously that was a few months ago.
Namaste.
Before that, let's see, I called out, you know, fake production, right? I've called those out. I've called stuff out like that before. I've even not shied away from calling Ghost Adventures out from things that I didn't like. But this is a bigger one. This is calling a family out who I feel has or is in the process of destroying a legacy. And to me, I find it to be they're facing some large karmatic debts, if that makes sense. And clearly, I'm not the one sending those karmatic debts. The universe is. But once again, you have to be really careful with what you put out there because it's going to slap you back.
Right.
Which is why I always say in the industry, I don't want to hate anyone or not get along with anyone. Anyone that has an issue with me is their problem. I've never had, issues with a single soul. Producers, production companies, or even public personalities. So this started about the week that Kat was here in Vegas, right? Am I right?
Correct.
Okay,
yeah.
It didn't start before that, right? Or did it a little bit?
It did a little bit when I went to go and see Killer Item.
Okay.
That's kind of where it started from.
Right. That's right. Okay.
And then it just kind of tapered off first.
That's right. I
couldn't
remember.
Vegas.
Okay, so
Yep.
I'm trying to put this delicately, but I'm going to end up just word vomiting because it's really hard to hold in because it's disrespectful.
There's no way. It is very disrespectful.
So basically what had happened was one day Kat was in town and something had been brought to my attention that it was from a family member of the Warrens. Okay, and if you're not familiar with the Warrens, obviously it's the famous Ed and Lorraine Warren. Okay. So the only thing I can state that I'm accurately seeing is there was some issues pre-Lorraine's death, but then there's a lot more issues post-Lorraine death. And once again, you're going back to the age-old story of the Warrens made a huge name for themselves, 70s and 80s. Ed sadly passed away many years ago, left his wife here to be alone. And she obviously still lived out a long, prosperous life. I mean, clearly doing The Conjuring. She was on set for Annabelle, all of those films, which means there's a lot of money at stake here. Am I right? I mean, wouldn't you assume as a producer there's a lot of money at stake here?
Absolutely.
And so she dies, and suddenly now everyone in the family feels like they have the right to tailgate their own family members, which I find to be disturbing. And once again, going back to that karmatic debt, that if these people were famous in their own right, even Lorraine helping with the pre-production aspect of all these films, they should not be trying to tailgate their family, and especially after she just died. And we're talking like just weeks, right? I mean, it's only been weeks.
It bothers me so much because things are not just being discussed, it's being discussed as matter of fact. And I have a problem with that because Ed and Lorraine are not here to defend themselves and correct people. And my Aries. I'm just gonna simmer it down for a minute. It makes me upset because what the hell? It's not right. It's not right.
Well, and if they had the right to speak out, even let's say they did, A, where's their credibility and what exactly have they done to contribute to the community? And B, why didn't you do it when they were alive still? Why are you choosing to do it after they've passed? Am I right?
Correct. And it's almost like their argument is like the bragging rights of, Ed and Lorraine, part of my family, they spent their whole lives doing this. They spent their whole lives doing that. You did not. So you don't really get a say unless it's just an opinion you have, but you should be stating it as an opinion instead of this is whatever,
don't drag your family
making it matter of fact.
Into this. Please don't drag them through the mud. They're not here to say they would support or wouldn't support that, for that matter. And with that being said as well, I do not like when people badmouth other groups, other hosts. I don't like when people badmouth production companies, because I've worked for many of them. I don't like when people badmouth film in general, even documentary film or reality film in the paranormal world. Sorry, I'm getting heated now. It's like coming up. It's like slowly rising.
I know. It's ridiculous.
If you're going to speak out about production, which is fine, then you better bet I'm going to be the one to school you. Okay?
Yep.
Look at my channel. It's what I've done. And if you're going to speak out about it, well, then we're going to find out what your credentials are. Because, you're using the name of your family member who's dead to gain thousands and thousands of followers now. Am I correct? I mean, after she died, this person, there's a few people involved, might I add. It's not just one, which makes it even sicker, in my opinion. Let's just get into it, shall we?
Yes.
Shall we?
Let's do that. So
I need another sip. I'm going to go ahead and let you start.
Okay. So it started, I actually think that Krystal was the first one to find the post. And she sent it to our group chat, our text chat. Mm-hmm. And I was so upset about it. Are we naming names or are we not?
It's a public post, Kat. So this is not, if it was a private post, but it's still on there, right?
It is still on there.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So his name is Chris McKinnell. He is Lorraine and Ed Warren's grandson, mm-hmm. I believe. Yes, grandson. And he made a post while myself, Chanel, were out in Vegas, and he said, verbatim, I've got the post right here, like I'm literally reading it, and it's still up on Facebook. He said, please don't believe paranormal TV shows and movies. Hauntings don't conform to production schedules, and the nonsense of these, quote, investigators can be deadly in real life, especially ghost adventures. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I was really triggered because I don't appreciate him throwing every investigator in the pot, first off. One bad egg shouldn't ruin it for the rest of us.
Well, also, P.S., might I say, not to interrupt you, but if he's saying he's saying ghosts are not on a production schedule, that even means any local investigators have been included in this now. Because everyone in the paranormal has now been included in this post. Because even if you go to the local places in your town or your state, wherever you live, he's saying that whatever you're getting is basically doesn't exist and is fraudulent.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'm really sick. I'm really sick and tired of ghost adventures being constantly brought up. More specifically, Zach Bagans, who was ragged on constantly on the post, and I have all the comments, so we can go through that tonight,
including the grandson. There's several comments that he decided to carry on about production being fake. All production. It's not just some production. All production.
He's claiming that that Zach is dangerous, and he's just saying things like Zach Bagans lied to Tony about the Annabelle situation, the Annabelle doll situation, that he staged the whole thing. It's ridiculous, and it needs to be let go, first off. And I think what really threw me was a lot of people were commenting on the post, a lot of people were sharing it, and also spreading negativity and hate about it, and because they're not probably informed, they're just kind of going with the bandwagon of, oh, well, this is Ed and Lorraine's grandson, he probably knows what he's talking about, which is unfortunate, but it happened. And, someone had asked him a question about a show, and Chris specifically said in a comment that I'm reading, he said, I do not watch these shows and don't know any of the personalities. It wouldn't be fair for me to single out people I know nothing about.
But wait, didn't he just say he knew everything?
Why did you post it? Like, I don't really know why you're giving an opinion then. He said, I have seen Bagans, so I know he is dangerous. Mm-hmm. So you saw him on an episode, but that makes you know his entire story.
But he's never seen him, and he did not meet him in person.
Tony was the only one that went. He was the only one that went, and he told us specifically that.
Right.
Because I have it on audio. So, I just don't understand why everybody's picking a fight right now, especially the Warren family after the horrible loss of Lorraine.
Yeah, may Lorraine rest in peace. Like, let her rest in peace. But I find it ironic and funny from a producer's perspective, just because God only knows how much Lorraine and the family made on the Conjuring films. I'm assuming millions. Right. And Annabelle and the Nun and all of them, okay? I'm sure this grandson got something. I'm sure, because there's so much unlimited funding. So if the grandson got some of the money, why is he sitting here once again saying everything's fake? When you're living off the dime of the person, don't bite the hand that feeds you type of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, and might I also add that this grandson, he didn't start getting really known, unquote known until his grandmother died. And now he's deciding to like come out of the woods because he probably feels special. Might I also add this person, what's his name again? I'm sorry.
Chris McKinnell.
Chris McKinnell. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris McKinnell also identifies as a demonologist exorcist. Is that correct, Kat?
Yes. Yes. Correct.
Look at my face. Yeah, right. Okay. What have I said? I hate people that identify as demonologists and exorcists. I can't stand it. And the reason is that people that identify that themselves as being a demonologist and exorcist, first of all, they're not going to go around and brag about it. And second of all, it is the most holy people you will ever meet, which is why they don't brag about it. Like, they truly believe that they are doing God's work, okay? So for him to just casually say, I'm an exorcist and a demonologist, I'm like, you're calling everybody else for being fake, but aren't you, boo? What are you doing?
So bad.
I'm sorry.
It's I can't, and it's I'm just at a loss. I'm at a loss for words, because then what ended up happening is Kat was triggered. So what did Kat do? Kat started questioning about what his credibility is. And what makes him say that.
You got into a debacle. I got into a
debacle. It was civil. But it was like the vultures came, and really ignorant people started then attacking me and calling me ignorant, and I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. The whole post, what I wrote was just, it's gone now. There's no point in keeping it out there because he wants to keep spreading the negativity and hate. But why are we arguing? Why are we arguing about
But you
this?
also said, you've obviously been working with Chanel's laughing. You also said, when you kind of called him out, you've obviously been working with me for a minute on the production side. You understand what goes into like the elbow grease of this. So even, irregardless of a show being scripted or whatever, there's still a lot of work that goes into all of these shows. So you have to have respect for filmmaker via filmmaker. You have to, because there's so much work.
Here was the other problem that I had that kind of segued into it based off of some comments that I read. He was also stating in the post that TV shows should, like paranormal shows, should be promoting more to not like do this at home. Don't try this at home. And that it's our responsibility as investigators to spread that awareness so people don't get hurt. And he was slamming other shows for not doing that. So I counteracted with, I'm pretty sure there's been a few episodes of Ghost Adventures, because that's what he was specifically slamming, where Zach has put a disclaimer on there saying this is dangerous, whatever, yada yada. But again, like, if someone decides to conjure up a demon for whatever reason, I don't really think that's anybody else's responsibility to be, made fun of, or to say that's your responsibility to make sure that these people don't do that. People are going to do what they're going to do. You can't stop somebody from doing something else. And they were attacking me on that front, saying that, by you saying you're not going to raise awareness, which I never said that, that shows how ignorant of a person investigator you are. That's rule number one, is to spread awareness for other people that might not know. And I'm like, really, part of me was kind of a little condescending, because I'm like, if someone is really going to sit there, look at the television screen and watch a paranormal show and say, I think I'm going to summon a demon today, and do that, that is on them. That is on nobody else but them. And I was like, I was so PO'd. And I still am, because I am staying firm on that. It is nobody else's responsibility what somebody else makes a choice to do.
Right.
Whether or not you tell them to do it or not, somebody is still going to make a decision to do something. And it's just...
And you came to me and you were like, Krystal, what's your opinion on, educating the public on safety of paranormal? Okay, like...
Yeah.
Do you think that when our series comes out that we need to, before every show starts, say, the events you're about to watch are very dangerous, and we do not recommend trying this at home. And my answer was, do you remember? No. I said no. I mean, now, I do agree. The ones that, like, Ghost Adventures brings in are, for, like, their warnings are, like, when Jay is working with his, like, weird witchcraft stuff. When they've had hoodoo and voodoo involved. Okay, yeah, I'm warning you. You probably shouldn't try this at home. But basically, he was saying every single episode that is produced or put on the internet by people that have gotten supposed paranormal activity, which also he agrees doesn't exist anyway, isn't real. Anyway, you should put a warning out, which is also condescending again, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, wait, you first said it's not real, but in case it is real, you need to warn everyone that's watching your stuff or followers. And so my answer was no, you don't. And here's why. Okay, I have a reason for it. That is not my journey. That's as simple as it is, okay?
Use common sense.
No, that was Ed and Lorraine's journey, okay? Ed and Lorraine's journey was to warn the public and say, I can't do, you shouldn't do this, it's dangerous, like, there's demons, and we have this museum and all this stuff. Okay, cool. That's not my journey. That's not Zach's journey, I'm assuming, from Ghost Adventures, because he doesn't do it in every single episode. Kat, you said you don't think it's your journey to be warning the public, right?
It's not. Use common sense, people.
Mm-hmm.
All right? If you're watching a show and you've never paranormal investigated in your life, one, you probably shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing some research to do it. Two, you probably shouldn't be summoning or,
Don't summon demons. That's not my fault. If you summon a demon, do not come and blame me, okay? Like, it's not my fault.
It makes me so mad. But I don't like how he categorized all investigators. But putting it aside, when I discussed it with Krystal, she made a really good point by saying, as we are investigators, but we are filmmakers.
Right.
As well. And he nabbed both.
Right.
And I got a problem with that.
Well, and shockingly, he has hundreds of comments on this is on his Facebook profile page that's public, might I add, if anyone's wanting to look for it.
Chris McConnell. Check it out.
I think I could I don't know if I can I have one Facebook page, but it's not. Oh wait, let me see if I can pull it up and then I can show it in the camera. I know, we're just both heated. This is just like, he's basically calling the entire community fakes and frauds in a roundabout way, yet he has hundreds of comments that are supporting him, yet they're only supporting him because he is the grandson of Ed and Lorraine. He has never been on television. He has never done anything big. I'd love to know exactly who he has exorcised. I would love to know which demons he has exorcised besides the ones in his toilet, okay? I mean, really, don't call yourself an exorcist. So this is his page, if anyone's wanting to look for it. And it's a public page. I have a Facebook page, but it is empty. I only use it for managing my business pages. And so anyway...
I had to block them both. I had to block several people after I deleted my post because they wouldn't stop.
Well, they were mad. They were like, "Oh, Ghost Girl Diaries is fake." Here you go. Okay.
At first, I never mentioned the series. Yeah. I just said that we were being a part of it in order to establish and show them that we knew what we were talking about. But this is also a lesson that you don't know who's watching or listening.
Right.
No matter where you are, no matter if you think it's a small group of people or that nobody in the audience knows what you're talking about. There's always going to be someone out there that's going to call you on your crap. You better be ready.
Well, yeah, you never know who's in your audience. So if you're going to speak out about something, you better know what you're speaking out about.
You better be able to defend yourself, first off. And two, and that's what happened at the Annabelle.
Tony Spera is the son-in-law of Ed and Lorraine. So he's not even blood related. Is that correct?
Correct.
He has taken on the image of, obviously showing off Annabelle and warning people. He has also done exorcisms, is that right?
Yes.
Tony's got a bad habit of talking about people in the community as well, which I find it to be a shame, to be honest, because as a producer myself who's doing a series and who knows other producers in this small community, my suggestion to any of the producers I know will be watching it now or later is not to bring Tony in to be a part of it, because he cannot seem to hold himself on a professional level. Do you think that's an accurate way of
Here-
saying it?
Here's the thing, okay? Where the event was held was in a city called Manchester, New Hampshire. Okay, New Hampshire is in the middle of nowhere, right? Not a lot of people know where that state is because it's very far away from everything. And it sold out. You know, there was a lot of people in the room that were pretty much like revering this guy because he had the Warren name. He was part of the Warren legacy, you know, when he was married into the family, and he was taught by Ed and Lorraine. So, you know, he had a great upbringing as to what you should be doing, but it's almost like he went in a direction. And when we were there, I guarantee you he didn't think that anybody would not so much, I don't have a connection with Zach, but I mean like know somebody that does. And he would not stop bashing Zach.
So basically you're saying it was like what, a 2 or 3 hour lecture?
It was you paid money for this to go to an event for him to bash Zach
the whole time. So you paid money, you traveled far, you traveled to stay there. People traveled from all over the country. They paid hundreds of dollars to travel. They get there to meet Annabelle. They're excited to meet Tony, and all he has to talk about is bad things about Zach and Ghost Adventures.
It took me a minute to like really think about it after it happened, because it you know, everything kind of happened quick and left, and then there was like weird residual stuff going on with the doll. Well, that's another story. But when you know, at the end of the day, when you really think about the things he said, it almost is like he didn't even really have a passion for what he was discussing. It was, how bad can I rip into Zach and use Warren's name, you know, or why did I say Elizabeth?
Because that was regarding Ted. That was regarding Ted.
Weird.
I mean, Lorraine.
Lorraine, yes. And, you know, and using them as like bragging rights.
Right.
To talk about it, you know.
But how much money, but how much money has he made? How much money do you think Zach paid him to bring Annabelle there?
To the convention?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, I don't think he paid any. Or at least he didn't say.
Oh, I don't believe that.
He did say specifically that he doesn't bring the doll out for just anybody. The people that were running the convention, he was fairly close with, so he was kind of doing like stuff for the convention to like feature the doll because he trusted these people and he can't trust Zach. Right. It was constant.
So there's always a little sprinkle of Zach.
It was like a little jab. It was like, you know, if you're an investigator, don't be a Zach Bagans. And constantly, I was losing my mind.
You're like, I paid all this money to come here, and all I'm hearing about is how much he hates Zach.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. And he's so, just from the impact side of it, he was so filled with anger
towards Zach
and rage towards Zach, and he can't seem to let that go. And a part of me almost wonders if that's because that's his only real form of like, credibility, meeting someone, you know, higher up, you know, in the paranormal community. So he keeps talking about it to say, oh, well, you know, I was on Ghost Adventures or I met Zach Bagans, but that's like the only thing he really has to talk about,
right,
in regards to like the doll.
Well, he's constantly in the shadow of the Warrens or Annabelle.
Yes.
Or in this case, Zach. And so he needs to take whatever he can to spew out, to remind people of his credibility. Which is a shame, because instead it's kind of making him look like an ass.
Wicked.
I mean, it's not making him look professional. It makes him look like he can't handle being in the paranormal professional community because he can't seem to keep his mouth shut. People probably aren't going... I'm at a point now, and by the way, might I add, if you go to his page, there are still posts, or unless they've been deleted. I'm sorry, my dog's here, an engine outside. I'm sorry, stand by. They're guard dogs. My Chihuahua is ferocious, okay? I need you to believe that. See? She's ferocious.
Oh my god.
Hang on. Princess, are you done? Thank you. Okay. He is still posting things about Zach, Tony Spera is, on his Facebook page. And the latest was talking about...
the rocking chair.
The rocking chair. He was talking about... there was another thing, too, that he had said regarding... his social anxiety. So Zach has really bad social anxiety. I've talked about it publicly before on my YouTube channel. He's very, very tight-lipped and close with only, like, his circle. He only has a very close circle of people because probably he's been screwed over a lot. I know the feeling, let me tell you, okay? And so he has a hard time trusting people. So, but he's always kind of had social anxiety. So apparently on set, Zach wasn't the most friendly, outgoing person that he assumed he was on television, and it pissed Tony off enough where he feels like he needs to post about it over and over again, saying that Zach was rude and didn't even ask him how his flight was. Well, no offense. I know for sure Zach paid for his flight. I assume if this was the first time he has ever traveled with Annabelle on a flight, that he paid for her to be there, which means he got money in his pocket, which means he's living off of it, okay? And then you're going to sit here and say that Zach didn't welcome you with open arms? I don't think he needed to. I think your paycheck was enough.
Well, he said verbatim, Tony said, Zach is the kind of guy to stare at the wall instead of shake your hand. And that really triggered me again. It really triggered me again because I feel like you shouldn't have to relay, like, you should keep some things private in your life, or even, like, if that's your opinion, I don't really think that that's warranted because it has nothing to do with Annabelle. This wasn't the Zach conference. This was the Annabelle conference. You know what I mean? Talk about things.
No, Zach has never responded. Someone asked if Zach's ever responded. I don't know if he really even knows what's going on. I appreciate Zach and his integrity in the community. He tends to keep his mouth shut and his ears closed because he knows it's just a bunch of paradrama, which it is. I just like to call it out because it's unfortunate that people are just dragging the whole community down, and that's what pisses me off about it. But, you know, the reason that I'm so upset about the social anxiety thing is that, you know, Kat, Chanel, and I are sisters. Like, we definitely have a past life thing. We are all extremely close. I've talked before saying when one person is having a bad day, we all know it before the person has even said anything. And we also know that Chanel has publicly spoken on her Instagram and Twitter page about having severe social anxiety. Kat and I know that Chanel has severe social anxiety. And so, and she even said in chat, social anxiety is a real thing. And it's true, it is, and that's why I'm so offended. You know, I feel like social anxiety is something like, I guess you could consider it kind of like a disorder like anxiety or depression, right? Like just in a different aspect. Would you go around making fun of someone with depression or anxiety? No? Then why would you go around making fun of someone with social anxiety? It's the same thing.
Right.
And once again, I'm a producer, and I'm not going to be going around hugging everybody, you know, so excited. Like, when you're, like, 18 seasons in, like Zach, yeah, I don't think that he's going to be hugging all of it. You know, he's tired. He's had a long haul. Right. He's made a lot of money, and he's probably about done. And, no, he probably doesn't need to kiss anybody's booty, including the owner of Annabelle, is my opinion.
Well, a lot of people are asking, too, what happened. So, a quick overview. There was a Ghost Adventures episode where Tony brought the doll for an episode and told Zach to not touch the doll. If you touch the doll, I'm going to have to stop production because it's obviously very dangerous and very haunted. Now, there were claims that he touched the doll during the episode. Zach, Tony has said verbally that he doesn't know if Zach even really did touch the doll, but he might have like nudged it or like brushed against it, and a producer told Tony about it, and Tony shut the whole thing down. So there's a big chunk of the episode that's kind of just like random fill-ins because Tony shut it down, and he was very upset that Zach didn't you respect his wishes. Okay, come around. I go to the convention to go to meet Annabelle.
This was January of this year.
The doll. This was in January of this year. That doll. There's something wrong with that doll, obviously. But when you experience it firsthand, it made you understand the possibility of maybe why Zach felt the need to touch the doll. I don't think he was going to go and touch the doll as a one-up on Tony to be disrespectful. There's something with that doll that does draw you in. Okay, here's an example. So I went to go take pictures with Annabelle. I took a picture next to her. I posted it on my Twitter and Instagram. And after I left the event, I constantly found myself staring at my phone and like staring at the doll, like zooming in on the photo. And it was very strange because it was like I couldn't control myself. I stopped. So I had to physically delete the photos off of my phone, stop staring at it. Next day, I almost reached this state of like, I guess oppression, but it was early enough where I I was taking care of it. And what was even stranger is Chanel kind of had a weird vibe that something was going on, and she actually called me while I was in that state.
You were almost in like a trance, right?
I was in a total trance, and in my head, I'm like, "What's going on? I need to get out of this," and I couldn't move. I quite literally couldn't move. And when she called me, that's when it like changed my focus and kind of disrupted what was going on. And I was still feeling extremely out of it when I was talking to Chanel. I wasn't really making sense of it. So I physically got up off the couch and went into the bathroom to go and like just get myself away from that space because there was something going on. So I can tell you right now, if you know, and the doll was in a case and I was looking at a photo. Imagine it being out of the case, sitting on a chair during the episode extremely close to Zach. There's going to be some weird stuff going on there.
And throw back to when this aired, which was like, what was it, a Halloween episode last year, 2018, right?
Yeah.
So my original review, I had said, why would Zach touch the doll? Like, what are you thinking? Of course I said that, okay? But now I'm reversing what I said, because now that my own crew member has gone to see Annabelle, she said that she thinks if she would have been in the same room as Annabelle without a case, without glass, and alone, because Zach was alone in the room, Kat said I would have probably touched Annabelle and not even realized that I was drawn in, because that's what that dark energy does. In other words, Zach probably didn't even know what was going on when it happened, because it's so dark. I mean, so you know the difference now between demonic energy and regular energy.
Correct. And he seemed, if you watch the episode, he seemed out of it.
Yeah.
There was something going on. He wasn't saying anything.
He was staring.
He was really in a trance, and he was slowly moving the doll, which is weird, because that's exactly how I felt with the with just looking at a photo on my phone with Annabelle.
And you also said you became like obsessed with looking at the photos.
I couldn't stop looking at the doll.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop looking at the doll. There was I was like, why can't I control myself? This is ridiculous. And then the next day, it started leading into other things that were not good.
And by the way, when Kat met Annabelle, you were right freaking next to it, like literally.
Very close to the case. Yeah.
So anyway, long story short is I'm just tired of people bashing each other, and you're never going to be able to stop it. You know, the unfortunate thing is with the family of the Warrens trying to, you know, I guess tailcoat, whatever you want to call it, their own family, which is sickening. They're making themselves look worse in the end. They're not making themselves look professional or good in the industry. You know, there was a point Kat and I had talked when she had met Tony. She'd developed a semi-professional relationship with him, and we'd spoke saying, oh, maybe eventually we could have interaction with Annabelle or some of the things, the Conjuring Mirror, whatever. But at this point, I don't know if I'd want, after I've seen the way Tony has reacted publicly to so many things regarding Ghost Adventures, since he can't seem to control his anger, like you said, which also makes you wonder if he's being oppressed by the energy and the museum itself. Don't you?
Around it.
Have you thought about that? I mean,
yeah. I mean, there's no other reason. Unless he just that type of person. But he is so filled with anger, and it was really unfortunate, because he and I actually had a really great conversation before I left the convention. Just chatting about, you know, being in the industry and being an investigator, and we had a great conversation. But then everything else just kind of started unraveling, and it was really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that he has to be like that.
You were following him on social media, and you're like, Jesus, he's still talking about Zach. He's still carrying on.
Yeah.
He's still making posts, and it's like, you know, it makes you look like, you know, once again, let's go back to Krystal's preaching of self-help, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Let's remove our anxiety and stress and depression by A, not being around demons. B, try some meditation. And C, work on your yoga and stretching. It will give you focus and integrity at the end of the day. So clearly, Tony is not working on serious self-help. And I assume it starts with being near or around the haunted objects in the museum. But you can't project like that to your audience constantly, don't you think? What if I was on there every day on Twitter, Instagram, just talking smack about everybody? I mean, constantly, couldn't let things go. I mean, Lord.
And, you know, 99% of the audience were gasping when he was saying stuff like that, and they were, you know, essentially believing what he was saying, and the 1% was me sitting in the corner being like, great, this was a waste of money.
Well, right.
You know, great. And then I got an attachment coming home. You know, like,
Right.
great day. Just love it.
It's a
But
good
you know, at
day.
the same, but it's so unfortunate, and I feel so bad for Ed and Lorraine, especially Lorraine having just passed. Let the poor girl rest. I mean, geez.
Amen. She supposedly suffered from like horrible, was it Alzheimer's or dementia?
She got dementia.
Oh,
Yeah,
which is
she
the
passed
worst
away
one.
in her home peacefully. But from what I could gather from conversation with Tony at the convention, she had developed it after Ed passed away.
Yeah, we heard she lost some of her Rhino donating birthday bits. Thank you, Rhino. Josh, shout out. He's our security, head of security. Thank you, Josh. Happy birthday to me. Woo! Josh already experienced a birthday with me at Chanel, okay? That's all I'm going to say.
Oh
Chanel
my God.
and I may have had one too many to drink on the night of our birthday celebration, okay? That was
funny.
enough for the year. I'm done, okay? That
Love
was
it.
it. That was really bad. My head of security had to carry Chanel and I out, but everything's fine. It's fine. You know what? You're allowed to have, a free time every once in a while. Kat's like, oh God, I'm having flashbacks.
Yeah.
So Ashley said, absolutely, they're making the whole Warren family look bad, shameful, and for Ed and Lorraine. Yeah, amen. I mean, okay, so Ashley wants to know how much exactly were the tickets, if you remember.
How much were tickets?
Ew, her video flashed. She's got her little Salem girl is back.
Can you see me?
Yeah, that was weird. It went out.
Oh, sorry. I believe $150 ticket.
I thought it was more than that because I was gonna go with
300. It was 300 total.
Was it? Plus travel, plus gas, plus eating there, plus convention stuff. Plus,
it was some money.
Think of people that fly in from out of state because, of course, Annabelle, like, that's a major name, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Yep.
Okay, did I miss any questions here? I'm just looking.
It's sad.
I'm just, taken back by the whole thing.
It's frustrating.
I feel so bad for Lorraine and Ed because, you're right, they're not here to defend themselves against any of this. And you have Tony and the grandson, and I'm assuming other family, if they're comfortable doing it, just dragging the Warren name through the mud. And they're these posts are public, guys. Like, they are just ripping the family legacy apart, in my opinion. It just makes the whole thing look like it needs to be shut down. Mm-hmm. And it's just really sad. Because, like, I've done, countdowns, like my top 10s of my favorite investigators and stuff before. I think I did a top 10 of my favorite female investigators, and number one for me was Lorraine, obviously, because she was like a huge groundbreaker in the community. I mean, you're talking back in the 60s, 70s, when this didn't even exist yet, Whether, I know there's controversy surrounding them, but, I envy Ryan Buell because he did get to work with her a lot. And despite the differences and issues that he's had, bless his little soul too, that he got to work with her. It's really cool. But I just wish the family would just let her chill. Just, like, let her sleep, let her rest in peace.
Not even that, but even, like, didn't have to do something where they claimed to have communicated with her.
Oh, my God.
And I was disgusted.
I don't see it. I didn't see it. It was called out by someone that we know that was probably going to happen. But, yeah, like, just literally a day or two after Lorraine died, what's his name? I don't even know his name. Huff Paranormal?
Huff Paranormal.
I don't watch his videos, by the way. I don't watch any other YouTubers' videos, because I'm my own competition, boo. I don't need to watch your stuff, okay? Take a note from me, okay? But Huff Paranormal supposedly just a couple of days after Lorraine died said that she came to him and spoke to him, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Just let her rest in peace, y'all. Like, everybody.
It's so sad.
She had dementia for years, which means she probably wasn't really here anyway, like, floating in between spaces. So just let her, like, go to Ed, and, like, everybody stop talking smack. And, like, I mean, Lord, it just tells you, if we, make it big, Kat, we know that when we die, our family's going to be talking a lot of smack, okay?
I think what's so sad about this whole thing too is just that it's clear that Ed and Lorraine was the glue keeping everything together. and it's really unfortunate to see
Thank you,
everything kind
Krystal
of crumble.
Shivers. She just donated 100 bits for my birthday. Thank you,
Oh,
girl.
hey, thank you.
No, keep going. I'm sorry. I mean, interrupt.
No, it's sad. It's
It
just
is.
sad when you see that, like, last link move on, cross over, and everything else just, like, crumble.
Well,
Like,
it
they
should
can't.
be at peace at this point. Like, it's over. It's just.
They should be respectful.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're not being.
Well, and also, let's go back to the post for just a second. You said that you went on Chris, whatever his name is. Chris, what's his name?
McKinnell?
Chris McKinnell, which is the grandson. Okay, you went on his page, and you had a debacle with him, specifically. And you basically called him out on production knowledge, because he kind of made it sound like he knew what he was talking about. And
like he had been on set.
And then suddenly he's like, oh, wait, I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Like, he backed off of you when he realized...
He backtracked into and was saying the same thing over and over. Agrees with me. He really disagrees with me that we should have a responsibility. He was making no sense. He was going totally off topic just to, like, divert the question because he knows he has no leg to stand on.
Right.
And I have a problem with that. And there's 200 people
I have a problem.
that like the post and 400 comments and over 100 shares. And these people that are ignorant, God bless them, that don't know any better, are sitting there following these people like lemmings. And it's nothing what Ed and Lorraine would have wanted.
But it's not. It's absolutely not. Like, you also have to think about you're going into... Ed and Lorraine, like, we're in the 21st century, obviously, it's 2019. If they were all about helping people, which they were, they would publicize some of their stuff and they would write books, but I don't think they'd be on social media talking smack, do you?
No.
Because they did it the right way. They did it the professional way, which is where all of their books came from. It's where all their knowledge came from. It's from the tapes of exorcisms they've claimed that they have produced. And it's just really a shame. And once again, just makes them look bad. It makes them. It's
just so backwards, because I found out off of Tony's Facebook page, friends on Facebook, and he posted about her passing before the media got it. And his last words were, "Please respect the family's privacy at this time," and they're totally going against that by sitting here spewing hate and negativity.
Yeah, I would say that's, but with exception to our family, y'all can talk smack. It's fine, including me. But everybody else, please respect Ed and Lorraine, right? I mean,
absolutely, please.
Don't start. Don't
start,
play.
Please.
Don't play. Okay. Anyway, that's the tea. And do you feel better, Kat? Do you feel better?
I do. I feel like a new woman.
Just like, I needed to get this out. Well,
I did.
Wait a second. We should probably just touch back again. Why are we not responsible as investigators to educate the community? I mean, I'm just saying it's not my journey. I'm not saying you shouldn't warn people to be safe. Obviously, I've put self-help videos out there like how to sage and smudge your house, and you probably shouldn't use a used Ouija board. You don't know where it came from or what malicious purposes it was used for.
Use your brain. Use your brain.
Which I feel like, do you really, like, okay, you guys watching right now, do you guys really think that I need to put up a disclosure to say use your brain? Like, seriously, like, clearly.
Here's the thing, okay? If you tell people to not press the big red button,
they're gonna push it.
They're gonna push the big red button. And there's nothing you can do about that. And the blame shouldn't be on the people telling them to not push the big red button. Because it's not, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's just
like, okay, here's another example. Zach said, don't go to Bobby Mackey's. It's really horribly haunted. I got a horrible bad attachment from it. Don't go to Bobby Mackey's. What happens? Bobby Mackey opens it up with Wanda K to do investigations, charging $800 to $1,000 a night, and what do people start doing? They start going to Bobby Mackey's. It doesn't matter. My point is, it doesn't matter if you say don't do it. People are going to do whatever they want to do anyways, and especially in paranormal. And Kat's right. If you go in, shout out Crystal Blue gave me some bits for my birthday. Thank you, girl.
Oh hey, thanks.
Just remember. You should research. You should also know who you're going with to investigate. Meaning,
educate yourself.
don't get in a group of people that you don't know someone and some stupid idiot that you don't know, like your friend's boyfriend, decides to go in and start provoking the demons, okay?
Right.
Because the problem is he's not going to be the one that gets attached. It's whoever else the weakest link is, okay?
Yep.
So just, yeah, you should educate yourself. But clearly people, that's the other thing that I guess I didn't understand about that post, Kat, was he's telling investigators, okay, the paranormal community, generally speaking, is a small community, especially if you compare it to something like the beauty, like the YouTube beauty community. There's millions, right? Where it's just not that big in paranormal. I mean, Zach barely has 1 million followers on Twitter, okay? So the paranormal community isn't ginormous. It's a smaller community worldwide. But the people that are watching the paranormal shows clearly are the paranormal fans, and most of the time are going to be the people that have or want to have a paranormal experience. So you want me to preach to those people not to investigate?
Right. We need to have our own experiences still. It's just,
so.
It doesn't...
That's not up to him, though. That's, once again, free will, and you can't control free will. And he would understand what free will was if he considered himself to be an actual demonologist or exorcist. Drop the mic.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yep.
Because we're going into free will, because that's a very religious thing, right? Like, you can either choose to be good or choose to be bad, meaning you can either choose to be Dolly Parton or you can choose to be Ted Bundy on this planet, okay?
Oh my God.
I cannot control your path. You make that decision. Same thing as you choose to provoke and summon a demon or not. Like, that's still free will and journey. So that there just discredits him completely as an exorcist and as a demonologist. So, God, that one felt good. That one felt so good.
I feel great.
I do. It's over. I'm just like, be leery as fans that you guys are watching, of people that you follow and people that you listen to and what people preach, because I feel like...
Don't stay silent either. It's the people that... People should be calling other people out if there's not facts being displayed. And it's hard because you don't want to be attacked and you don't want to be the center of attention. But we need to almost, as a community, make it look like we're trying to spread awareness in that way. And it's all about choice. It's all about intention, but you still need to be able to experience your journey, whatever that means. But the blame shouldn't be put on other people if someone has a bad experience. And that's just wrong.
Well, you also should be, trying to tie the paranormal community closer together, not trying to push it apart.
Absolutely. Have some couth.
Him saying all production is fake, anytime a video camera goes on, doesn't mean a ghost is on your schedule. Well then, boo, you haven't been on one of my productions, and I would invite you, but I think you're an a-hole. So you don't know. So don't call that out. Don't say everyone and everything and all. Just be very wary of what, terminology you're using, because, my first question to Kat was, really, how many productions has he been a part of? I'd like to know that. And then, of course, I was like, give me your resume, boo. I need your CV. See who you've worked with in this industry, because I know people and people that know people, okay? And, of course, it was like a big nothing. So then when you, talk out your booty and it's like a big fart in the air, people are going to call you out on it. And we just did. And that's it.
Right.
And my mic is dropped. Okay?
Yep. That's it.
And that's it.
That's,
Don't
and that's
be an idiot. Don't summon demons. If you're going to bring up a topic you're going to talk about, make sure you know what you're talking about, and make sure you know who your audience is, because that's...
And make sure I don't see it, because it's going to be... I'm just saying.
Kat was on fire. Like, you could see her Aries in her eyes. She was like, I'm fire!
Well, and it went on for 5 hours. I'm sitting there and at Krystal's, and then we're walking, and they had another notification in the car, and then we're eating, and then another notification, and I'm like, I am not giving up. No, you need to get the point. And then it just got so bad. I was like, you just can't.
Well, but once again, you shouldn't be spreading fake or false information to the paranormal community, right? Yep. If you're going to be spreading information, I just hope that it's realistic and you know what you're talking about, because now, but once again, he has all of these people following him only after Lorraine died, and so he's trying to build himself up to be important or somebody. And we're both sitting here Okay, thank you, Ouija Bop. She gave me 100 for my birthday.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, Ouija Bop, but she works on our crew. She helps us with pre-production, with like research and stuff. That's Amy from the
Social
UK.
media.
Holler.
Oh, hey.
So, any questions? I know that was a lot of tea. I told you guys to bring popcorn. I hope everyone's at home drinking wine or popcorn or something. Chanel and I cannot have alcohol for like another year. We've been like, we've
They're still
cleansed.
detoxing.
We're still detoxing alcohol.
So
hey, it was our birthday, okay?
Absolutely.
Kat did not. She drank, but she's Irish, man. It just takes.
I tried. It takes me a lot, so I get tired.
That and we all work so much, especially Kat and I work like the most constantly. So it was kind of nice to just finally have a moment to like check out. And
be
go
free.
Out and be social. Yeah, I was free, that's for
be
sure.
Social.
Chanel, were you free? I'm just saying. It's pretty bad saying I'm my age and I can keep up with the 22-year-old. I'm just saying it says a lot about me.
Chanel.
What she
no
said.
More alcohol.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was bad. Don't worry, I'm fun to be around. I'm like the party girl. Any other questions? Anybody has questions or anything? I don't think I missed anything.
I'm not seeing any.
Yeah, me neither.
Nope.
Oh, Rob Hernandez, yeah. He was our engineer. He's no longer our engineer, unfortunately. Let's see. I think that's it. Someone says, speak it up, Krystal. That was my birthday cleanse. That was my birthday drop the mic.
It was good. I'm glad we discussed it, because we have been talking about it for a while, but it just kept building up, and I think that the post by Chris was just kind of like the tip of the iceberg for everything to fall over, and it was time. It was time.
Yep.
It was like a universe was like, it's time to express this. So
Amy said, what'd you get for your birthday? Let's see. Kat got me some awesome, cool stuff from Salem, Massachusetts, which I about like passed out. Including she got me like it's not a Harry Potter wand, right? But it's like a wand.
It's not. It's a legit spell wand.
It's a spell wand. Okay, so it was really cool. I've never been to Salem. Obviously, that's like a super goal. And she got me some other stuff too, random stuff, and then
the Slytherin notebook.
I got House of Slytherin. Hey, can you tell? Gee, no kidding. Maybe you're coming to the dark side, Kat. No, I'm kidding. I got a spa day. I got a spa day. My mom got me an iWatch. I got a new iWatch 4. It's on. By the way, I love it, might I add. Yes, it's right here. And then I bought myself a few things, you know. Like today, Jeffree Star had a relaunch of all of his tracksuits, so I bought the black and hot pink one because, you know, I'm like a gothic Barbie, and we had to like just ride that out, you know, ride or die. And yeah, that was about it. Just some random stuff. It was really fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, been a good minute. I'm still in post-production. Got a lot done this week. Got a lot accomplished. I'm hoping it's going to be wrapping up here really, really soon. And I'm ready for it too. I'll say that. I kind of I learned to stop forcing the post. I was hoping it was going to go a lot faster and smoother than it did. But when you're doing something that's so serious and like major, meaning like an actual series, like an actual pilot, you have to make sure every little corner is correct, because that piece sets the standard for like, you know, potentially 18 seasons in, right? So there was no rushing it. And Kat was like, "You've got to calm down. It's gonna happen. You just need to breathe and just like work on it a little bit at a time." And I was like, "You're right. Like, stop with the anxiety." And
well, it's hard when you're dealing with it. You know, it's nice to have, especially when you have a positive group of friends surrounding you. Sometimes you can get clarity in a different aspect when someone tells you died.
Right. Yeah.
You know, from an outside view instead of, you know.
Kat's like, so we're almost there, Krystal. Like, it's there. Just chill. Like, just keep going. You're almost. I'm like, you're right. You're right. Because I was having days where I'd wake up and be like, I'm still not done. I'm so upset. And she's like, you're doing like a big, like, this is a big project.
Huge.
Like, you're not. Yep. It's not like a school project, you know. And I was like, you're right. So yeah, it's going. It's just I finally kind of got rid of my post-production anxiety this week. Oh, also, people on social media were asking me about my mommy's doggy passed away. And that's a really sensitive subject. My voice started shaking. I know you heard it. I was really close with him. Obviously, my dogs were very close with Toto. We literally named him Toto after the Wizard of Oz. My mom got him when he was about 6 months old. She'd actually saw him get hit by a car in Colorado, and then she saved his little life. So he had a beautiful life, obviously. And then he's been having some back issues and stuff. It's weird. I started talking about Toto and the dog started to bark. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's strange.
We've been having some weird para-activity. We were worried he may not have crossed over initially. We think he did now. But anyway, it was sad. It's like hard, you know, like it's weird. When it comes to death, I don't know how you feel about it, Kat. You think being in this industry, it would be easier when you like deal with death, but it's not.
No.
It's not any easier.
It's not easier because it's so final.
Mhm. I mean, you're going to see them again, but just not for a long time, right?
Right.
And so Toto, it's weird because like Harley had passed away in January, which was my dog. His birthday is actually coming up in a few days, which I'm really worried I'm going to be a mess on the 14th, May 14th. He would have been 14.
Yeah.
But Toto, it's like Harley died, and it was, I don't know, we'd done so much, tried to save his life, and then he didn't make it. And then Toto was just like really fast passed away, and like no one was expecting it to be that quick. He just had a really bad night of seizures. So anyway, the dogs are still barking. It's so weird. That's weird. It. It's just sad. I hate it. I wish dogs lived to be like 80. I wish they lived to be 80. Oh, thanks. I just got a delivery. It's a birthday present.
Oh, hey!
Yeah, I got this like astral notebook that I've been wanting. Kat's really into like schmancy notebooks, and she made me kind of jealous when she was out here. So I told myself I need to buy a schmancy notebook. So I got a schmancy notebook here.
Oh, the books. Oh.
Yeah. Kat's like, I write books in case I have kids and I want to give them my journals. I'm like, why don't I do that?
Mm-hmm.
I was literally like, why don't I do that? Okay. Well, anyway, thank you guys for all of the birthday. Ouija Bop said Harley, Toto, and Billy are together. Amy, who's our PA, she lost her Billy, her puppy, last year. And, like, it was, like, right after, Harley died, like, right after that. So it was weird. It was so close. So, yeah, they're in heaven, fronlicking in the fields, and nobody's in pain. That's the only good thing about it. So thank you so much for all of the birthday wishes. We're going to do regular stream next week, probably on Saturday. Shout out to Chanel. She has pneumonia. I hope she's feeling better. Get that pneumonia out of you, girl. And Kat got home. Kat got home. She landed in the airplane, and we thought she died. Let me be real, okay? We thought she died.
That was really bad.
Yeah, you want to talk about what happened?
So, long story short, I ended up getting a double ear infection. Yay, because everybody loves getting a double ear infection. I've never had one before, so it was really strange. But I get allergies a lot. So usually, like when I go to Vegas, I get allergies, and I guess I was just getting a cold, or like I had full like sinuses. And when we were on the descent to land, the air pressure. It literally felt my eardrums were perforated because the pain started like shooting down into my neck, and it was like I almost passed out because of how bad it was. And then when I got off the plane, I heard like water in my ears, which isn't a good sign. So I ended up getting it checked out, and I do have a double ear infection, so I'm pretty heavy medication right now.
You and Chanel are allergic to the East Coast. That's what's wrong.
What did you say? Sorry, you cut out.
You and Chanel are allergic to the East Coast.
Probably.
Because you both got sick when you went home.
Let's just be real. It's like as soon as we leave, it's gotta be a sign.
Oh my god, it is so.
Kat
texts me when she lands, because I always say like, text me when you're like boarding, text me when you land. So Kat texts me when she lands. She's like, my eardrums burst. And I was like, I have insurance on you. No. I was like, I need your ears for production. Like you have to hear. Oh, I was like, you have to go in. So thank God it wasn't the burst. Holy crap. Oh my God.
They were fine. It was just they were really infected. So
well. You have to come back to Vegas, I guess. That's the only thing that's
Okay,
going to cure
now.
you.
Yep,
You know what I mean?
True. The only thing that's going to save me.
God. Well, thank you so much, Kat. It was so much fun. I hope everybody
You're welcome.
enjoyed it. Hopefully, we will see Chanel next week. I'm going to play it by ear. Either way, I'll be on next week still. And yeah, everybody have an awesome Mother's Day weekend. Thank you again for all of the birthday wishes on all of my social media. Thanks everybody for donating bits. I appreciate you guys and all my subscribers. And as always, we will catch you guys next time. Thank you guys.